don't ever remember the president ever asking me to get involved with Jeff Sessions or the Department of Justice in any way, shape, or form ever.
That was the scene on the wall inside Congress's first impeachment investigation hearing yesterday, which was going late into the evening. Donald Trump's 2016 campaign manager, of course, pressed to admit that he lied to me on this show when we asked him about reports that Trump was pushing him to meddle in the probe. Now, all of this is netting headlines today. Outlets like the New York Times and the Daily Beast reporting on that moment of Lewandowski trying to explain what happened on the beat. So I want to get into the context right now. Obviously, this involves us a little bit. My interview was basically asking Lewandowski in February all about this, and he issued his now noteworthy and somewhat tortured denial. It says Trump called you over July 4th weekend, asked you to oust Sessions, and you were non-committal. Did you get that call?
I don't recall the specific call that they say took place on July 4th. As a matter of fact, they were so specific of the call that my kids were in my truck and we were driving to Dunkin' Donuts on the 4th of July weekend. Would have been something I remember. And since I polled my 4 children, they don't remember that either. They usually remember when the president calls. So not to say it's fake news, but I think I would have remembered that conversation.
That's interesting. Let's put it up. Let's deal with this. The New York Times says Trump called Lewandowski over 4th of July weekend to ask him to pressure Sessions to resign. Lewandowski was non-committal, never acted on the request. It doesn't mention Dunkin' Donuts. Why are you bringing up Dunkin' Donuts? That makes it sound like you do remember something specific.
Yeah, I don't. Look, again, I have a very, very special privilege, which is talking to the president on a fairly regular basis. And I don't disclose those conversations, but I will tell you this. I don't ever remember the president ever asking me to get involved with Jeff Sessions or the Department of Justice in any way, shape, or form ever.
So you're saying it didn't happen on a July 4th drive to Dunkin' Donuts. The article doesn't mention Dunkin' Donuts. The article didn't mention Dunkin' Donuts, and Mr. Lewandowski offering that very suspiciously specific denial was a tell, as we emphasized in our coverage, and he was lying. If you don't remember the call and it never happened, how did you know it happened on the way to Dunkin' Donuts? Now, some of this sounds almost absurd, but obviously the underlying issues of potential obstruction are important. Now, we try to hear all sides here. We confront people with facts, and we do follow-up fact-checking. So when the Mueller report came out in April, we did a follow-up fact-check report to deal with how we knew Lewandowski had lied in that exchange you just saw. Blanket denial. That's obviously not true. Lewandowski did remember it because under penalty of perjury, he remembered Trump asking him to get involved with Sessions in so much detail that it was just 10 months earlier that he was telling Mueller all about it. So Lewandowski was not only making a false statement in our interview, he was making it knowing that he'd already told Mueller the opposite. So there were good odds that that testimony about all of this, about what Trump asked him to do with Sessions, would later come out. And to give context of what was happening, we reported that Lewandowski told Mueller about the Trump plot to thwart the probe and denied it on this show. Now, why? If Lewandowski knew that he already told Mueller and it would come out, as I'm emphasizing here, why go to such lengths to lie in public? This is important. A fact coming out to Lewandowski is not the same as a fact becoming known to a president who doesn't read much. The New York Times even reported after the whole Mueller report came out that Donald Trump had not read it and that, quote, the fates of witnesses would depend in the coming days on how they're portrayed on TV. If Lewandowski knows one thing, he knows how to stay in Donald Trump's good graces. And he made a big bet, as someone who worked so closely with candidate Trump throughout the whole campaign, that he could try to have it both ways. Lie in public, show Donald Trump that he was lying for him, but also hide from Donald Trump that he ultimately, yes, told Mueller the truth. To put it in Donald Trump's terms, that he ratted on him. Lewandowski was performing not only on the beat, not only lying to his own supporters and anyone who would hear that, but trying to protect Trump for Trump. And now he has been, and this is the new part, confronted with that very exchange during this hearing on President Trump yesterday. So under oath, well, he had to cough something up.
Prior to the Mueller report being published in redacted form, did you ever misrepresent what you did on behalf of the president?
I can't think of an instance where that would have occurred. I don't ever remember the president ever asking me to get involved with Jeff Sessions or the Department of Justice in any way, shape, or form ever.
Did you hear that, sir? That was you saying on MSNBC, you don't ever remember the president ever asking you to get involved with Jeff Sessions or the Department of Justice in any way, shape, or form. That wasn't true, was it, sir?
I heard that.
And that was not true, was it?
I have no obligation to be honest with the media just because they're just as dishonest as anybody else.
So you're admitting, sir, you were not being truthful in that clip, correct?
My interview with Ari Melberg
Yes.
can be interpreted any way you'd like.
So you're admitting that on national television you were lying there.
What I'm saying is they have been inaccurate on many occasions, and perhaps I was inaccurate at that time.
Did you say that because you wanted to protect the president?
Not to the best of my recollection.
Sir, did you deny it because you wanted to protect yourself?
Not to the best of my recollection, Mr. Burke.
Why did you lie on national television, sir, about the president giving you a message to the Attorney General about the special counsel's investigation?
I don't recall that particular day and my mindset at the time, so I couldn't answer that.
That's what a checkmate on cross-examination looks like. And according to Corey Lewandowski's own admission, this sounds bad, but this is his admission. The only time you can trust him to tell anything approaching the truth is when he is sworn in and under oath, which is under the threat of perjury or going to jail if you don't tell the truth.
Are you a truth teller in that interview?
I'm a truth teller every time I stand before Congress or a committee of jurisdiction and raise my hand and swear to God under oath.
That is literally the narrowest measurement you could possibly take for telling the truth. In other words, anything less would put you at risk of going to jail. We've invited Mr. Lewandowski to come back on the show if he wants to address any of this. Thus far, he's not taken up our offers, and the record sits with him. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.